Impression, whether it's love, friendship, Hatsune Miku, jobs, or anything else there is to life. Every impression, in a way, is pretty much the defining attribute of interactions we have. While the bad ones can lead to making yourself look like an utter moron, the good ones often pave the path to riches. We can all probably relate to watching our first impression on someone we really liked. Now, what prompted me to make this video, you ask? Skip. Yeah, stop complaining, I've got things coming up. The Art of the Pitch, Persuasion and Presentation Skills That Win Business by Peter Coughter. A splendid book I've been reading over the past week. And when I say splendid, it has lots to show for it, unlike some con men masquerading as gurus. Now, make no mistake, presentations are not just for business or your job or something you do at college. It can also be a way to make yourself look cool and show your friends why you are special. Although the book is about making a pitch, I also believe that the lessons can be internalized for mundane, day-to-day interactions. Now, the book covers a wide range of topics and I can't really discuss all of them in depth. Hence, I'll just talk about my personal takeaways from it. Number 1. Don't be boring. Whenever there are presentations, our peers, friends, teachers, and advisors tend to use terms such as business-like and professional. And when these terminologies come to presentation, they are essentially code words for boring and robotic. Ever since our early days at school, we are never really taught how to properly express ourselves, and we inherently think that answers to complex questions are just raw, emotionless data dumps with complex situations and diagrams complemented by technical jargons. And likewise, good presentations are just raw, emotionless data dumps, and that life itself is raw, emotionless data dump. But we also know that from personal experience, soulless data is just nauseatingly boring and effective sleeping pills for classrooms. As my friend would put it, the best academic paper out there are the ones that a layperson can somewhat understand. We could also perhaps lighten up the room with humor or try to resonate with the audience through small talks but relevant stories to complement them as well, or even tell some interesting facts. The point I'm making is that different people have different preferences and there might be different ways to incite reactions from them, and using humor or personal experiences as a medium can only elevate the genuineness of your pitch and make you appear more human. Speaking of being more human, comes number 2, being your authentic self. Now, this is especially a note for me since I kind of tend to get stressed out and feel the need to micromanage every word I utter at times, psychoanalyzing and getting into the complex nitty-gritty details. I tend to look for fancy words and try to exaggerate certain emotions or even overthink about how the audience might feel. And this can lead to actually having the opposite effect in making you feel less authentic and more agenda-driven. And this is why there's a need to be more authentic to yourself as who you are. Your audiences can't really relate to perfect and blemishless heroes. This is partly why Batman was always popular among kids, despite Superman being the poster child of DC Comics. Because the former felt more genuine and human and made up for his flaws through what humans can seemingly do. One study the book mentions is how people aren't really able to differentiate whether you're anxious or excited. Anxiety and excitement come from the same areas of the brain, so it's probably a few gears away anyways. Why then not just choose to be excited and show your audience that you are enthusiastic to show them your pitch? Now comes to number 3. 50% of communication is visual. In any sort of proper presentation or pitch, half of the communication is done in person, face to face, and the other half is usually supplemented by some sort of visual presentation. but they should not really be the same thing. One habit that really destroys the mood when it comes to presentation is that the presenter verbatim repeats what is already mentioned on the slides. This is akin to offering a spoonful of baby food when you should be presenting a Michelin-starred dish on a silver platter. Your job isn't really to infantilize your audience by reading out something for them that they can already read. And to make matters worse, what may make the slides more unappealing is that they are filled with so much detail, jargons, and diagrams that it really takes away the audience's attention from you. They should be complementary and not taking away your job as the presenter and the one who is making and offering the pitch. A lot of essential cues that the audience takes from you is from their body language, posture, and vocal expression. Yeah, you can't really be monotone because that's going to really ruin the mood and expression they have on you. There needs to be variety. The goal of your presentation is and should be to evoke different emotions, just like music perhaps. Try to make eye contact with the audience, make gestures, ask questions. Don't be plain and bored. Every move in the world is full of opportunity. Which brings me to another point, which is the fourth one, filler words. So I wanted to really literally say something, okay, and so what I wanted to say is filler words can totally it can destroy the message of what you're really trying to portray, I guess. From the starting of the fourth point, you can easily notice the deterioration and unintelligibility in the first sentence. In fact, I would not really be surprised if many even thought I was an idiot. Filler words such as like, so, literally and actually are sprinkled so liberally that they have lost any meaning. Now, the final point of the video has been extremely stressed in the video, which brings me to number 5. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. First-timers and even professionals tend to focus and do exactly as the scripts tell you to. And to further add to this and make it worse, there is often no trial run of the presentation for the team in order to jot down the weak spots, whether it be with presentations, cold calling, a casual pitch, or anything that's relevant to presenting your product or presenting yourself really. And this usually causes a very narrow and linear growth. You can't really understand any sort of progress and the quality of your content keeps getting worse. Now, what I really love about this is that this is not just really about any presentation, but it can be applied to my YouTube channel as well. And I've seen this personally. Before this video, I have never really rehearsed any sort of auditory effects before. I never really rehearsed the script which I was preparing or uttering. And if you take a look at previous entrepreneurs or successful people, they have a certain secret to the master speech or presentation they provide. Rehearsing. What does hearing the name of Steve Jobs bring to mind? It conjures the image of him standing near a projector with simple clothes and even simpler presentation. But despite this, Steve Jobs would try dozens of times and begin practicing at least 3 weeks in advance. Rehearsing isn't really for one's own self either, and it is better if you do it with the team. Now, to conclude the video, what I really loved about this book is that it emphasizes on this full stop. Even though it seems inconsequential at first, the more you think about it, and the more you apply it in a practical basis, the more value it is able to provide. The team is also perfectly aware of how the pitch goes, and due to practice, it essentially becomes second instinct. Besides, presentations and pitch too require feedback to improve. By the way, guys, if you like the video, yeah, I know this sounds cliche, but yeah, you see how I played it, exactly, I was gonna say silly. Yeah, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel.